Nityanandam and welcome back. Welcome back to my channel, YouTube channel. Today I was wondering, actually 2-3 days ago I wanted to record this and I didn't quite catch or make an opportunity to record this video. So I thought today I'll do it. What do I want to talk about today? What do I want to share with you guys today? How I met Swamiji. Okay, so of course one of the most important people in my life at this moment in time, His Holiness the Avatar Paramahamsa Nityananda. How did I get to know about him? So in 2009, and before that actually, just a little bit about myself. As I've already mentioned, I was born and brought up in India and at one point when I was a teenager, with my parents, we moved to UK, and then I continued my studies there. I did my university degree. I studied interior design. I got my BA honors in that, and of course then I started to work. I had a career in design and I worked for some pretty top companies. So some of you may know the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. There's the most famous casino in China. So the companies that actually design the interiors for those companies I worked for. And along the way I remember my colleague saying to me, I didn't know this myself. It wasn't a knowing that I had, but obviously there's something that I was carrying about myself. I used to have my colleague say to me, "You're very spiritual," and I didn't know what that meant fully. But I knew I was really interested in meditation, yoga, these types of spaces. I felt somewhere drawn to them, but I never pursued them in a very systematic way. I never seeked for somewhere to go and meditate. I would have probably somewhere. I also had a fear of meditation. What will happen to me if something, some sort of experience happens, or XYZ. These some fears were there. Not that much interest was there, but somewhere I was actually giving out this vibe that I was a spiritual person. And then as time went along, in 2009, I'd actually been made redundant from one of the jobs because there was a recession type thing going on, and I seized that opportunity at that moment in time to do something different. So I thought, okay, so this is my opportunity now to take some time off. When I meant time off, I meant time off from my regular career driven type of space. So I took a little bit of time off from there and I decided I'll start my own business. I started small. I started with this multi-marketing business that was dropping catalogs at people's homes and then picking them up. It was my time, my space, on my terms, with the investment I wanted to make, and I actually wanted to learn how to connect with people. So obviously, business related, enriching people is one of the key things. And I remember on one of my rounds, it was sometime in July 2009, I was out. It was sunny. It was quite a sunny summer that summer in London, and I remember going to one of my rounds, and on my way back, just a thought happened in me that I'm ready for meditation. I'm really ready for meditation. And when I got home, there was a leaflet on the doormat, and it had the details for Swamiji's 2-day program. So there was an Acharya that was going to come for 2 days and teach the first level program, Life Bliss Level 1. And of course there's something about that leaflet that just drew me intensely in. I don't remember seeing Swamiji's Murti, his photo clearly. I don't remember as a clear memory, but I just knew I had to find out more about this program. So I rang them, and then of course once I rang them, I got to know more information, and that was a particular weekend that I couldn't make it. I kept the leaflet safe in one of my usual organized piles, and one day when I was sieving through them again, I found it again, and then this time when I called them, I found out that there was a meditation happening not far from me every Monday evening at 6 o'clock, and I decided to go attend it. The first time I did it, it was actually a 15, maximum 20 minute, if I really walk slow, 20-minute walk from my home. Very convenient. And of course, as I was having my own business, it was on my terms, my time, how I wanted to. So I went along to this first time, and there was a grand total of 2 other people and myself, and plus the person conducting it, the coordinator. And we experienced Nitya Dhyan meditation. That's it. I got hooked. I just knew something very real had happened for me. I may not have been able to put words at that moment in time to what had happened to me, but something, I got some deep question in me answered. Somewhere, as my friends and colleagues had told me before that I was a spiritual person, I must have been seeking it, not knowing I was seeking. And when I experienced this, that's it. My world started revolving around the 6 o'clock every Monday. That meant nobody could contact me to do anything at that time. It was off limits. It was that time, 6 to 7 or whatever time it took me, that was my time doing this meditation every Monday. And there were times when it was one of the 3 out of us would not turn up. And there were times when the 2 would not turn up. It would just be me and the coordinator. And there were times, actually 3 weeks, where I took the key from the coordinator because he wasn't going to be around for the gym. He wasn't going to be around. So I took the key from him and I said, I'll go. So nobody was around, just me doing these meditations. That's it. And I just knew something very, very real had happened for me. And then, of course, I started to volunteer small bits and pieces here and there, handing out leaflets. My first experience of volunteering for Nityananda Sangha, Nityananda organization. We were giving out leaflets for a 2-day program, which I had hounded the coordinator, literally hounded him to organize. I said, when is it? When is it? I asked so many times. He had to organize it, get people, get acharyas, and then of course we had leaflets to distribute. So I went along to the yoga thing that was happening, like a conference that was happening, and outside we had permission to be handing out leaflets. What a simple thing to do. Every leaflet I handed out, I experienced more and more bliss, more and more bliss, more and more bliss. And by the end, it didn't even matter to me. People said, no, I don't want the leaflet. I was joyful regardless. I was feeling so blissed out. That's it. These were the experiences, very real experiences that got me so connected. Mind you, I had not physically met Swamiji at this point. It was just his meditations that he's shared on YouTube, that he shared obviously with other people that had experienced Swamiji, and they were sharing it with me. So this is 2009. So by the end of 2009, I had done my first level program. And then, of course, there was a religious persecution in 2010, which was very unfortunate. And my first question when I was delivered this news was, so when is the next program and who's conducting it? Because I cannot possibly have my growth now stopped because of this distraction. And it took a little while. I had a Kalpataru that year with Swamiji. The first time I actually got to speak to Swamiji online. And I asked for living enlightenment, and he said, of course, he'll take care of it. Tathastu, it's done. He asked me to watch his morning messages. I really didn't know what was morning message at that time. I was so clueless. Eventually found out, and I thought I had to watch only one. Obviously, it was a daily practice. But anyway, then, long story short, I decided to train as an acharya. So I went to LA. That's where I experienced the LA temple for the first time. And there again, I had such a real experience of Swamiji. My heart melted and the tears poured out of my eyes. At that moment in time when I stood where all the deities are in LA temple, Nityananda temple in LA, Los Angeles. I went there for my teacher training, and it was something very real. All these deities were alive. There was so much love radiating from them. I had no words but just tears pouring out. I didn't even know why I had tears pouring out. All I experienced was something melting in me. And that's, once again, of course, experiencing Swamiji but not in his physical presence. Then I came back from LA as a Acharya for Nityan in the order, and continued to teach. And I experienced more and more bliss every time I taught. I taught any program, any introduction I did, or any first level program I taught. I just felt more and more intensely connected to Swamiji, until finally the day came when I managed to get myself to Inner Awakening, the 21-day program, minus all the resistance, lack of money, this, that, all kind of obstacles that I could possibly create for myself. Beyond all of that, I finally made it. But I came 2-3 days early, because I thought I'll get the maximum out of being here. So I had 2-3 days early, and I was going to leave 2-3 days after the program attended. So I managed to keep myself almost a month here in Bengaluru Adinam. It was November 2011 that I came to my first Inner Awakening, and we had landed on one particular day, which was afternoon time. So by the time we finished settling in, we'd already missed satsang. So I was ready for the next day for satsang, and there I was, ready. Absolutely, I was thinking, yes, I have the right spot, right in the middle, just where I'll be able to see Swamiji. And of course, I knew the music when the curtains would open, so I thought I'll have this wonderful, beautiful experience of, I'll put my hands together, I'll close my eyes, and I'll know when to open my eyes, and there will be darshan of Swamiji, and I'll just, I'll have this grand idea. So I had my friend sitting next to me, and I sat, and then of course the music started, so I sat, beautifully I sat, and I knew exactly when to open my eyes. And of course by this time I knew the curtains had completely opened, enough for me to see Swamiji. So I opened my eyes, and the first thing I see is this big cameraman with a camera completely blocking me and my view of Swamiji. And I was like, oh God, there's this yearning to see Swamiji, and there's this big camera. And I thought, and I started to strategically plan for the next day, right? Because I thought, for the next opportunity I'm going to get tomorrow satsang. So I was thinking, I started to look in the line of people sitting, thinking, which side can I sit so that I can see Swamiji? And then by the time I finished planning that, I looked up and the cameraman moved, and I got such a beautiful smile, which I want to believe was directed directly at me. Cosmos laughing its head off for the things that I had in my head, these grand ideas of how things would be. But in the beautiful spontaneity of how things worked out, I just got a chance to connect with Swamiji in his physical presence at that time. So my journey has happened like over a period of time, where it started with a simple leaflet. I still keep that leaflet very close, safe, and the beginning of that journey, of course, the formless space started a long while, and I had many experiences in between, which I'll share along in other videos. So, once again, inviting you to this beautiful opportunity of 21 days with Swamiji, where very real experiences, spiritual experiences can happen for all of us. There is not this big tapas needed, there is not this big practice needed, or I have to have some qualification for it. No, it is just my yes that is needed. Just your yes is required. But for going and coming to see that dimension of us, we are not just the mind and body, we are more than that. To experience that dimension, inviting you to the 21-day program, Inner Awakening. We are having one in